Hi, my name's Janelle and welcome back to another Behind the Brand video. It is officially the week leading up to the release of my new Clover pattern. I can't believe all the work is almost done. I have been working on this sewing pattern since I first made the very first version of the Clover skirt back in 2022. I made this 90s inspired skirt, and as soon as I made it, I knew I wanted to turn it into a sewing pattern. So this week is all about doing some of the last minute bits and pieces in order to be able to release this pattern on Sunday. It is currently the Tuesday before release day and I have such a packed to-do list this week, so I thought I would document it because I love sharing the behind the scenes process of what goes into creating a sewing pattern. I actually have filmed a little bit of the process up until this point, like I'm talking a very small amount, but I thought I would pop that footage in now so you can see a little bit of what has gone into making the Clover pattern and getting to the point we are at now. Today is a very exciting day because I'm going to be making some samples of the Clover pattern. Here is the Clover pattern currently. It's definitely not the final version yet, but it's getting pretty close and it's definitely up to the part where I need to start making samples so I can start sharing examples of what the skirt is going to look like. These are the fabrics I have chosen to make kind of the sample Clover skirts out of. I basically want to make just a plain cotton, and I think this fabric here is going to be perfect. I bought it while I was in Japan. It's like this quilted print, which I absolutely love. I think I'm going to actually use this fabric as the main example in the video instructions, so I won't be cutting into this one today, but I also wanted to include a sample out of some lightweight rayon flowy type fabric, and I think it's going to be really nice in the long version, so I'm thinking I might make a sample out of this fabric today. It's just such a pretty green color with this floral print. I am in love with it. I've actually made a dress out of it before, but the dress unfortunately doesn't fit me anymore. So it's going to be nice to add a skirt out of this fabric into my wardrobe. And then I also want to make a sample of the mini version of the skirt, and I'm hoping to make it out of this pink corduroy. I think that's going to be so cute, and yeah, I just don't think you can beat a cord mini skirt. Also, while I make this dress today, I'm going to make special care to take note of all the steps so I can get started on the instructions for the pattern as well. Ideally, I'd like to draw up the instruction images today after I finish sewing. So yeah, got a lot to do. Let's get started. Okay, so I fully just got into the sewing zone and did not end up taking any footage. I do not know what happened there. I was planning to show a little bit of the process of making this skirt, but yeah, just did not happen. But the skirt is looking so lovely. I have just made it up to a point before I have to do the buttonholes and hem. Because it's rayon fabric, I'm going to let it drop for a few days before I do the hemming, which you have to do before the buttonholes. So yeah, I'll get to that in a couple days time, and maybe I'll even film that process. But yeah, I am so happy with the rayon version of this skirt. It's just so flowy and lovely, and this fabric's a dream, and I'm just so excited to have it in my wardrobe. And while I was making the skirt, I took note of all the instructions, so now I know what I need to write up for the instruction booklets, and I also know what kind of diagrams I need to draw up now as well, which I think I'm going to get started on this afternoon. So yeah, I'll try to show a bit of the process of that, hopefully. Okay, time for another kind of exciting part of the process today, picking the final pattern color. So as you can see, all of my patterns have a color, and I like to just pick a color for each pattern just so you can kind of differentiate the different patterns. So I've just got some sample papers that I've been just putting up against the other patterns that I currently have in the collection just to see how the colors will work together. I kind of like to keep the color scheme quite cohesive. Even though they're all different, they do work nicely together. I think I've decided to go between these two colors. This one is very similar to the Rosa pattern, but it is just slightly darker, which I think works. But I wanted to go green as well because it's called the Clover pattern. So I think if I go with a green theme, that could work really nicely. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a mock-up of the pattern cover for the Clover and do the two colorways, print it out, and then see what I think. Here are the little samples I've created to potentially become the envelope fronts of the pattern. I am surprisingly leaning towards the green more. I just really like how it looks. I like that it's completely different to what I normally go for. Like, my obvious favorite is the pink, but I genuinely love the green so much that I think this is the one I'm gonna go for. I'm also going to be making one of the samples out of this fabric, I think, which also has a little bit of green in it that kind of ties nicely together. And yeah, I just think the green theme is just working really nicely for the Clover pattern. I'm gonna put a poll up on Instagram just to see what other people think, see if green is a popular choice. It might not be, but I think I'll go the green anyway because I love it so much. But I am interested to see what other people think as well and see what color people gravitate towards more. But yeah, I'm gonna put this up now, and then we'll see what the people say. So the poll has been up for a few hours now, and it looks as though green is going to win. Look at that. I'm pretty happy, if I'm honest, because I genuinely love the green so much. So today's job is to start preparing the paper patterns. So basically the digital patterns are pretty much almost completely 100% complete. I've basically just come out of the pattern testing phase, and the pattern testers all had such good things to say about the Clover, which is such a relief. But there is a little bit of an issue with the letter file that I need to fix. So apart from that, the digital patterns are done. So now I can focus pretty much solely on getting the paper patterns ready. The paper patterns are such a labor of love for me. They take a lot of work to put together, but I just love being able to send physical products out to my customers. I obviously love it when people buy the pattern digitally as well, because that means I don't have to do any work. But I really do love the idea of like writing a thank you note and packaging up people's orders and sending them out to them. And that way, if you don't have access to a printer, or if you can't be bothered printing out the pattern yourself, I can send you the pattern pre-printed. So the goal for today is to fold up all of the paper patterns. Then I have a whole stack of the pattern instructions that need to be stitched and bound together, and they get packaged up into the pattern envelope all together as a nice little bundle. And yeah, I love this part of the process. It's definitely more of a mindless activity, so now that all the work's done, I can just enjoy this part of the process, and that's why I tend to film this part of the process as well, because I mentally have the space to be able to do so. By the time you're watching this video, the Clover pattern will have already been released and it's currently available to purchase, so I'll have a link to it down below if you did want to pick up a copy for yourself. And thank you in advance to everyone who has purchased a copy of the Clover pattern. Your support genuinely does just mean the absolute world to me. And yeah, it really does allow me to continue making content for Rosery Apparel. So yeah, I really hope you know just how much it means to me. So here are the Clover paper patterns that I need to fold up. Really the only place I can fold these up are downstairs in my work in progress sewing studio where I've set up my cutting table. I think I'll bring them down there so I can actually have some table space to roll these out. The state of this space at the moment. It is definitely a work in progress still, and I've barely been able to work on it because I've been so busy with the Clover pattern prep. But I thought I would just show you the Clover skirt because I'm actually wearing it today. It is just such a fun skirt to wear. It is so comfortable, so flattering, and of course it has pockets. I am completely obsessed. So yeah, just so happy that this pattern is going out into the world this week. I cannot wait. So I have folded all the 14 to 24 patterns and now I need to get started on the 4 to 14. It honestly didn't take as long as normal. I don't know. I just kind of got into the flow of it and folded them up really quickly. I have to admit the nerves are starting to set in a little bit. It has been a long time since I last launched a sewing pattern. It was back in August 2022. And yeah, I kind of forgot just how nerve-wracking it is. Like, I've just been working on this for so long on my own, and now I'm about to release it into the world where other people are going to be using it and making their own garments from it, and it is just a little bit terrifying. Obviously, I have a whole bunch of pattern testers to double check to make sure everything works and that there are no mistakes or spelling mistakes and that the pattern actually fits. But I just know come Sunday morning when it's time to release, I'm just going to be a bundle of nerves again. I think any small business owner understands what I'm talking about, like that pre-release nervous feeling that you get. But yesterday afternoon, I took photos of this skirt I'm wearing and they turned out so beautiful, like way better than I could have possibly imagined. I found this really lovely couple of bushes that were starting to bloom. Like, I think they were camellia bushes. I think that's what they're called. And I drove past them the other day and I was like, whoa, that would be a really pretty backdrop for some photos. And it just so happened yesterday afternoon, the lighting was really consistent. It was overcast, which is the perfect lighting for taking photos. And yeah, they just turned out so good. And it's just such a relief because obviously you make this pattern and then a lot of the time you're relying on, you know, whether or not the photos look good, on whether or not the pattern sells well, because you need to be able to show what the actual garment looks like on and everything. But yeah, it's a massive relief that the photos turned out really nicely and the video footage. And yeah, just thought I'd give an honest chat and update on how I'm feeling about this whole week. And yeah, I guess it's probably a good idea if I get back to work. Okay, so the paper patterns have all been folded up and I'm just compressing them under some magazines, and now it's time to start stitching up the instruction booklets. So yeah, now it's time to sit at my sewing machine for a few hours. So yesterday, a very exciting package arrived in the mail. The Clover skirt pattern envelopes are finally here, which is such a relief because there's literally only 3 days until pattern launch. So I was getting a little bit nervous they weren't going to arrive in time, but they're finally here, and that means today I get to package up the paper patterns. And I also love the pop of red on the floral print on the front. Oh, I just think it's so pretty, and it's so different to the other patterns I have out at the moment, which I kind of like. I love that it really does stand out. So yeah, time to package up all of these paper patterns. So yeah, here is a look at the paper pattern all packaged up. So you get the folded pattern and then the instruction book packaged up into the envelopes. And on the back of the envelope, I just have the size guide, the fabric amount needed per size to be able to create the Clover skirt, and just a bit of info about the different notions you need for this project and where you can find the video instructions. So yeah. Now it's time to actually take photos of these to be able to put them up on my website on Sunday. It is quite overcast and grey today, which is great for photography, but because I take the photos inside, it might be a little bit dark. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It has been such a busy day today. I've packaged up all of the paper patterns. I have taken photos of everything for my website. I've worked on social media and all the different posts I'll be posting over the weekend of the release. And now I've just spent a few hours editing the video instructions that need to go out on Sunday as well with the pattern launch. I'm nearly finished because I did edit a massive chunk of it a few weeks ago when I sent the pattern out to my pattern testers. Because the video instructions are such an integral part to my patterns, it was important I had it done so that they could get the full pattern experience. So yeah, it was a busy day, and I feel like I haven't filmed as much as I was intending to, but I have gotten a lot done. Like, I'm feeling so happy with where I'm at right now. I feel like the light is definitely at the end of the tunnel now. I think basically all I need to do now is finish up the video. I need to make a reel to be able to announce the Clover pattern when it goes live. And then tomorrow's job is just going to be all about writing up the listings for my website and editing all the photos and getting everything set up over on my website. And I need to finish up some newsletters as well, which will also be announcing the Clover pattern. But yeah, I think I'm gonna sign off this video for now because I just need to put my head down and focus and get all the work done. But I'll pick it up again on Monday after the release day. Wish me luck. So it is now Monday morning. The Clover pattern is finally out in the world. I cannot believe it. Like, it just feels like such a relief that I'm on the other side now after so many months of solid, consistent work on this one project. It just feels, yeah, I can't explain to you how it feels. It was such a relief to get it out. It's been doing really well, which is obviously a huge relief. It's always so nerve-wracking putting a new product out and you never know how these things are going to go. And like I've mentioned, it has been a while since I last launched a sewing pattern, so I was a little bit nervous that people weren't going to be interested anymore, but I just feel so grateful that, yeah, people have really been excited about this pattern and that they have purchased it and supported my one woman pattern business. It just honestly does mean the absolute world. Like, I'm so grateful to each and every one of you that has purchased this sewing pattern. I have so far this morning just spent a bit of time writing a bunch of little thank you notes to go out with the pattern orders. I have two like kind of postcards that go out with my sewing patterns. The first one is just this one that has been my classic postcard that I have been sending out with my orders since I first launched my first pattern, the Rosa dress, back in March 2020. So yeah, I have "You're better than a dress with pockets," which I've actually already pre-printed a little note on the back. And then I also have these "Have a lovely day" postcards, which I took this photo and put it on Instagram like quite a few years ago now. And I thought it was really pretty, so I made a bunch of postcards, but I left this one blank so I can actually write notes to my returning customers. Yeah, so these are just some, like not even all of them. These are just the first batch of returning customers. I haven't counted how many there are, but it is not lost on me how special that is for someone to come back and shop with me again. Like, returning customers are just the best. So I always make sure to write them a thank you note because, yeah, I want them to know just how much it means to me that they have chosen to support my brand again and chosen to purchase one of my products again. Yeah, it just means so much, and I really hope it is coming across just how grateful I am. So yeah, I am going to spend a few hours packaging up the first lot of orders. I don't reckon I'll get through all of the orders I've had over the last 24 hours because, yeah, the pattern has been live for a little over 24 hours now, which is crazy. But yeah, let's get on with a nice packing orders montage. Also, today I am wearing the shorter version of the Clover skirt. This is the skirt B of the sewing pattern and I am completely in love with it. I've had so many lovely comments about this shorter version. It's just such a different vibe to the long version and I can't choose which one I love more. I'm completely in love with both of them. But yeah, I made this one out of some lovely green corduroy from Spotlight. And so yeah, you can make this skirt out of some pretty thick fabric. I probably wouldn't go any thicker than this corduroy or like a, you know, you can make it out of denim as well, but I wouldn't go any thicker than that because you will struggle making the buttonholes a little bit, I would imagine. But no, the corduroy was absolutely fine. I had no dramas with it. And yeah, it's a super comfortable little mini skirt. I am completely in love with it. But yeah, let's package some orders. I am going to get to packaging up these patterns eventually, but I did just want to say as well, a massive thank you to Lauren, who was the first person to order the Clover pattern and the first person to order the paper pattern as well. Thank you so much, Lauren. It is always exciting to get that first sale, so you really made my day yesterday. First batch of orders have been packaged up and are now ready to take to the post office. And I think that brings us to the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed following along and seeing a little bit of a behind the scenes of what goes into making a sewing pattern. Thank you so much again if you have purchased a copy of the Clover pattern. I will make sure to have a link to it down in the description below if you did want to go and check it out. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, it would really mean a lot to me if you could give it a like, and make sure you subscribe to my channel for more sewing and behind the brand videos just like this one. Have a lovely day and thanks for watching.